You're tuned to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is the program called Food for Life, and it's our pleasure for the first time this year to have in the studio Heather Barrow. How are you, Heather?
I'm doing well, Ken. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. All the better for seeing you.
Happy New Year.
You too.
2019.
Can you believe it?
Yeah. Hey, the year went fast. I'm expecting this year to go fast as well. Just try and be in each day.
When you get to my age, it's a blink.
Oh dear.
Anyway, what have you been up to?
Not much. Just really taking advantage of the off time to recoup and relax and just kind of revive myself. I think everyone needs a good break and
Too right.
Go to the beach,
Recharge
put the
those
feet in the
batteries.
sand, get some vitamin D, and
Chill out.
learn to paddle surfboard.
Yeah. How did it go? Good?
It's hard.
It's
They
a work
make it
in
look
progress.
so easy.
Anyway, before we get into today's topic, which is our easy New Year's tips for a healthy change, we just want to remind our listeners that you're an award-winning presenter now. Tell us about that.
That's right. So I just want to thank all my listeners and everyone who's downloaded my radio show from Radio Kidnappers website. I've got the most downloads for 2018.
Yeah, that's great,
I
isn't
got
it?
a nice trophy for
Yes,
it too.
you did,
Which,
in pride of place.
yes, it's in my office in a very central location for everyone to see. So
To make
thanks
people-
to everyone who listens.
To make people bow when they come in front of. Anyway, easy New Year's tips for a healthy change. I mean, it's easy to fall into a hole in this holiday season, isn't it? You know, we eat too much, we drink too much, we don't exercise enough.
We all do, and I think it's good to just let loose a little bit and
Yeah.
not have to think too much about everything. You know, if you're following a certain way of eating, just to, bend the rules a little bit and just relax. And sometimes it actually does the body more good. You know, you're not releasing stress hormones, and you can actually lose more weight actually when you're on holiday. Just
Can you
because,
really?
all that cortisol, those stress hormones aren't interfering with your thyroid function.
I heard also that it's easy to get sick when you're on holiday because once you start relaxing, for whatever reason, when you're working, you tend to just keep going like a machine, and all of a sudden you got all that time ahead of you. You're going to have a bit of time off, and you get sick. Is that credible? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. All the adrenaline goes for so long, and your body can only sustain that for so long, and then your immune system just takes a hit and says, "All right, now I'm resting. Now it's time to get sick."
You mentioned that we can actually lose a bit more weight if we're being on a diet, but I do recall we spoke last year about, for instance, that keto diet, that if you take a break from it, it's actually quite hard to get back into it. Is that the same with most diets?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the word diet, and I don't like to use diets, but yeah, I mean, you do have to get back into that state of ketosis. So it is actually a scientific state that you have to work
Yes.
on getting back towards. But other than that, some people can do it in a few days.
Sure.
Some people it might take a week or 2 weeks, but I wouldn't say it's difficult.
No. I know so many people who are doing that keto diet, and they just think it's fantastic.
Yeah, hopefully they're doing it the right way, because
Yeah.
there are some articles out there that really downplay the keto diet. You might lose weight, but how healthy are you inside? You have to do it the right way, of course, like I talked about, with enough fiber and leafy greens and alkalizing foods versus all the meats and the dairies and the acidic foods.
Yeah. Okay, give us some New Year's tips for a healthy lifestyle change.
Yeah, so I thought this would be a good topic because, everyone comes into the new year with the best intentions and, starts off and kind of just wants some easy ideas. What can I do? Quick and easy, some simple changes. First one to implement is water. Water, like we can't live without it. We're made of water. We release water every day just by talking, by breathing, when we sleep, in our sweat. We need 30 milliliters of water per kilo of body weight. So if you've heard that old 8-glass rule,
Yep.
that's fine and all. But if you want to be a bit more precise, if you're a tall person, what you weigh 80, 90 kilos, you're looking at over 2.5 liters a day.
That is a
2.5.
lot of water, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? Your cells need that hydration, and your liver and your kidneys all need that as a filtration process.
Is it water per se, or can you include, for instance, the water that might be contained in vegetables or like watermelon or fruits? Does it work that way as well? It's part of it or not?
No, because it's hard to calculate that, and
Yeah.
it's not that much.
No.
But you can include herbal teas.
Who'd
So there's
want
no
to have
caffeine
herbal
in there.
teas?
Yeah. Your lemon ginger, your
Yes.
peppermint, all
Yum.
those good things. So that's my first tip. Water helps with weight loss as well.
Yes.
So it speeds up your resting metabolic rate. So stay well hydrated. Carry your water bottle with you and, refill it. And that way you actually can measure how much you're having in a day.
Yep.
So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is get adequate sleep. So when we sleep, a lot of functions take place, a lot of detoxing. It's essential for your brain health, for your immune system. And if you suffer from any anxiety and depression, it can really help with those mental health problems, mainly because it's good for your immune system and your gut, and that's connected with your brain. Different people need different amounts of sleep, so there's no set, you need this amount.
What about that old 8 hours sleep?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go for that. If you function well off 6 hours, great.
Yeah.
I need about 8.
Yep.
8 minimum. 9 would be great. What about you, Ken?
I'm a 6-hour guy. I go to bed about 11, get up at 5. But yeah, I just find that, well, first of all, life's too short to be sleeping it away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find that I'm refreshed after 6 hours.
Okay.
And even on the weekend, I wouldn't sleep in. I guess my body is awake at 5 o'clock and I'm up and at it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, there you go. But yeah, just allow for enough sleep. If that means turning off your devices, make a New Year's resolution. If you have your iPad and your phone and tablet and everything out, turn it off by a couple hours before bed. Sure. Let's say an hour and a half or so before bed.
Can you have too much sleep, and how do you know?
Can you have too much sleep? I'm not quite sure about that one. I wouldn't think so. People that take the weekend and they say they sleep most of it, they probably need that.
Sure.
The body allows it allows that natural process for a reason.
What about not enough? How do you know you're not getting enough sleep? You're just not functioning properly?
Yeah, you don't function well. You've got brain fog. You can't think clearly. You're yawning a lot. You could doze off easily. You rely on caffeine to get yourself through the day. What
happens if you just, I naturally wake up very early, but someone might say, well, 6 hours isn't enough. But obviously we're saying it is enough for me, but sometimes you just can't get what you really want because it's your body talking to you, isn't it?
Do you have coffee first thing in the morning?
Sure thing.
Okay, so my challenge for you for New Year's would be to just take a week off coffee, still get your 6 hours, and just see how you function without it.
Right.
And if you find that you're tired without the caffeine, you're probably not getting enough sleep, and the caffeine might be masking that.
I wonder, we often talk about coffee and drinking water and all that sort of stuff, but is there coffee and then there's coffee? Like, I only drink the Greggs or the Nescafe. I don't really like that strong stuff. So when we're talking about having too much coffee, is it too much of the strong type of coffee, or is it too much of any coffee?
I would say any coffee. When you say strong stuff, do you mean like the brewed barista?
There you go.
Style?
Yeah, that's right. You have this
versus
stuff.
Instant.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I would say coffee's coffee.
Coffee's coffee.
Well,
that's how you look at it.
I'm not going to get into coffee thing here, but you're better off with the bean. Sure. I'll say that.
Really?
For coffee, yeah.
Okay.
So that's tip 2. So stay well hydrated, get adequate sleep, avoid processed food where possible. So you've heard me talk about this. Artificial flavorings, additives, preservatives, colorings, all of that is artificial, and it's foreign to the body.
Yeah.
The body can't process it. It doesn't actually recognize it. So when bodies don't recognize food, it can cause inflammation. And I don't know if anyone's heard this saying, but inflammation is the root cause to all disease. Yeah. So just by trying to at least reduce your processed foods, that will be a positive change for your health.
It's a good philosophy, but I guess it's be hard to sort of stick to that, wouldn't it? Because isn't most food that we buy at supermarkets processed in one form or another?
Not all of it, actually. I would challenge you for a New Year's resolution along this note to just look at labels. So if you always buy the same brand muesli bars, okay, well, let me actually look at the label this time. Can I actually pronounce every single thing there? Do I know what it is? Is it an actual food, edible ingredient? If not, if you see FD7 and color red and all that, best to leave it out.
Yeah.
So just switch, because there's muesli bars that are 100% natural.
Is that you? Do you when you're shopping, do you look for that? And do you find that it's slightly more expensive to buy? I guess we're talking about organic food, aren't we? Really?
No, not necessarily organic at all. Just natural food, just whole food. So there's a lot more out there nowadays, because I think the market's responding to the shift.
Yeah.
And people, wanting to eat healthier. So like those Bliss balls, those little round balls. It'll say only 5 ingredients on the label: figs, cashews, sesame seeds, coconut. there's a prime example. Might be a little bit more expensive, but I haven't looked close enough to compare the prices.
Sure.
But remember, Whole Foods is the true cost of food.
Yeah. And what price on Good Health?
Yeah,
Might
you
cost
pay
a
the
little
price
bit more, yeah.
then or later.
Dead
so,
right.
with your
Okay.
health.
Yeah.
So that's my third one. Now, some of you might be listening, and I'm just going to go into tips for weight loss. My first one is don't get caught up in the calorie counting. So many people do this.
That's Weight Watchers, isn't it, though? Don't they work on calorie counting?
Yeah, Weight Watchers.
It's big time, though, isn't it?
Sorry?
It's big time.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People love it.
I don't think they do. I've had a lot of people come and see me and say, I've tried this, I've tried that. It's so frustrating having to count my points and my
Yeah.
calories with this and knowing I can't have that. We're not supposed to live like that.
No, we're not.
Food's meant to be enjoyed, and calorie counting is not a way of happiness. And remember, happiness is
not.
good for your health.
Exactly.
So it's more about the quality. So the quality of your food. So if you're to count anything, count nutrients, not calories. And anyway, if you've read Dr. Libby, and you're a fan of her, she's written the calorie fallacy, that it is, counting calories, the calorie equation is false.
Yep.
So it doesn't actually work in the long run.
So how do you count nutrients?
Yeah, counting your nutrients. So just thinking, okay, well, I'm having a banana. Most people know bananas high in potassium.
Mm-hmm.
So, be thinking along those lines. Vitamin C, okay, I've got an orange tree outside. That kind of thing.
Sure. But if you ate 20 oranges a day, you'd get fat, wouldn't you? Because of all the sugar in them.
Well, you'd have a lot of problems if you ate 20 oranges a day. Second tip, quick tip for the new year for weight loss is chew your
Yep.
food. Everyone talks about it. Doctors, health professionals, I've even heard talk about it. You have to break down your food.
Yeah.
There's this mechanism in your mouth called your teeth and your jaw, and you have to chew. And once that food leaves the mouth, it's left to all of your other juices and enzymes to break your food down. Think of it as an extractor. Your digestive system is an extractor in your gut. So you're breaking it down, this, what do they call them? Garbage disposal.
Yeah.
It breaks that food down. That's all happening up here. By the time it gets down here, that's the extraction in the gut. Nutrients are absorbed through the gut line, so they can only be absorbed when they're tiny, tiny particles.
Didn't you say that eating was a pleasure?
Yeah.
It's not a pleasure if you've got to chew it 30 times or 40 times, is it really?
Well, maybe not that many, but you don't have to chew
Yeah.
smoothies and soups.
No, you do
but
not.
I'd say about 20.
Yeah.
It starts to become habit, you know what I mean? And then it's not like you have to think about it.
I have tried that actually just as an exercise, and it does take you a hell of a lot longer to eat your meal.
Yep.
And-
It does take a little bit longer.
And did I feel better the next day? I'm not sure, but...
Well, you only did it once. My husband's really good at this.
Is
He's
he?
taken on this advice, and he now is the last to finish. And sometimes I'm sitting there quite a few minutes
Yeah.
while he continues to chew.
Are you the food police at home?
No way.
No?
Not at all. I like to share wisdom, which he happily accepts. But,
I'm sure he does. Happy wife, happy life.
That's right. So that's the first two tips for weight loss: is don't count your calories, count your nutrients, and chew your food. My third tip is to get to know your information. So if you haven't had a blood test in a while, now's a good time. Beginning of new year, new you. I tell everyone they should get a blood test once a year, get to know your numbers, specifically for women, because I see a lot of women for weight loss. Make sure you're not battling with a hormonal or nutritional imbalance. Hormones can really cause you to hold on to your weight.
Sure. Before we go much further, just remind our listeners, though, if we want to come and see you for some advice, where do we find you?
So I'm located at G's Pharmacy in Taradale, and right towards the back. So you can find me there. You can email me at heather@foodforlife.co.nz, or go on the website, foodforlife.co.nz.
You mentioned that blood test. Is that something that you would give us when we came to see you, or do we need to go and get that done at a doctor?
I always tell people it's great if you can get it done beforehand and bring it in, so we're kind of a step ahead of the game, and I can have a look then. But if not, I can actually order bloods for you as well.
You're also a big fan of exercise. And just as an aside, I was reading an article the other day which says that you can just lose as much weight just by minimizing the amount of food that goes in your mouth without exercising at all. That's not something that you'd recommend, though, is it?
Say that again?
You can lose weight without exercising. As someone was saying, you don't need to exercise to lose weight. You just watch what's going in your mouth.
Well, I think it's a combination, really.
Yeah.
I think movement is really important. Sure. One, for stress levels. Most people that I see, I give them a stress test early on, and I'd say 90% stress is impacting their body. So my best stress reliever is exercise. Is get out there and get outside and move the body.
Yeah, it's nothing better for you.
Yeah, there's another really good tip.
Yeah, that is.
Really easy one: eat a rainbow at each meal, or at least a couple parts of that rainbow.
Yeah.
Have a vegetable at each meal if you can. We're eating way under that 5 to 6 servings of vegetables, and vegetables are nutrient dense. A lot of them are superfoods, and they have the vitamins and minerals to really feed and nourish your cells.
Yeah.
And you'll feel better all around when your cells are nourished. So
I wonder, just get some advice from you. I mean, for instance, I love peas, and I would have a whole plate of peas if a certain person would let me at home. But if I ate a whole plate of peas, is that the same as having five different types of vegetables? Is it just the amount of vegetables that we're eating, or do we have to eat peppers and peas and cabbage and broccoli? Does it have to be 5 different veggies, or can it be a whole lot of one veggie?
It's best to diversify because you're getting different nutrients from all those different vegetables, different antioxidants. And sometimes when you eat too much of a food, it actually can become a sensitivity.
So you can go OD on it, really.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not a good idea.
Yeah, I did that with coconut.
Really?
I was really into a coconut yogurt at one point, and I had it for part of breakfast. I'd have it for an after dinner, treat, or even a snack in the day.
Yeah.
And I started developing a sensitivity to coconut.
Sure. So now can you eat it still, or?
Yes. Yeah.
You can.
Yeah. I just had to cut it out for a little bit.
Yeah. Everything in moderation.
That's right.
It's a golden rule.
Last weight loss tip is watch your liquid energy, which I call alcohol.
Yeah.
It can really thwart your weight loss goals, as well as fizzy drinks. It's empty calories. So watch your consumption. And I know people are thinking, well, how much should I have? It's really hard to say. When I ask people how much, do they drink? What do you drink? How many glasses? A glass could be a large glass of wine, or you could get those little miniature ones and fill them up. So, best drink I would say would probably be red wine.
Yeah.
Antioxidant and helps with digestion.
What about hard liquor? I mean, not that we're advocating drinking, but if you're going to have a drink, I might suggest that if you've got a big glass of wine, albeit white wine, let's go with that, or you had a couple of nips of hard liquor with some sugar-free lemonade in it, what would be better? The hard liquor, would that have less calories? Or would the...
But we're not trying to count calories.
No, but if that's
either way, that's a hard one. Yeah. Either way, it's a liver loader, but I'd say if you're comparing white wine to hard liquor with a diet soda with hopefully a natural type sweetener, I would go with the hard liquor. Yeah.
And there is talk about what is safe to drink now. It used to be a couple of drinks a day. Is that still a golden rule? Is that a good thing to go by?
I think it depends on the individual, but I wouldn't have more than 2 drinks in a given day. Yeah. So those are all my tips for general tips, New Year's health tips for change, and weight loss tips. Do we have time for any more? I've got some
we do.
Tips for kids.
Yeah, let's do that. Actually, what you do notice is there are a lot of, for want of a better word, there are a lot of fat kids around now, aren't there? Why?
Yeah, I mean, when I go out, even just at Kmart, and I look at the eatery and stuff, and what people are drinking, and I say 9 times out of 10, most people have a bottle of fizzy.
Yeah.
They get, a Coke if I get Turkish or whatnot. I always see people grabbing a Coke or a Pepsi or lemonade or something, and I'm thinking, if only they could just cut that would make a huge change in their life. But there's advertising now, and they're appealing, they're targeting kids. Eat this and you'll be happy, or
sure. I wonder, you say they're targeting kids, but at the end of the day, it's the adult's responsibility, isn't it? I mean, obviously we just give in to the kids, but you wouldn't give in to your kids, would you?
No, Maybe as a treat once in a
Yeah,
while.
sure,
You
of
know,
course.
it's a special treat, but I'd also want to educate them and say, you know, you want to grow big and strong and tall,
Yeah.
like your dad.
Yeah.
That this food will not do it for you, but you can enjoy it as a treat once in a while.
Yeah. Okay, so when we're talking kids, I mean, how important and what should kids be eating? How important is it for instance, kids to have a great breakfast? What would you give kids for breakfast to start the day?
Yeah, so that's a hard one with kids, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, lots of kids, you know, you want to do quick and easy, or trying to rush out the door for school, you know, trying to find a healthy cereal, you know, a muesli or even homemade muesli,
Yeah.
you know, with some fruit, cutting up fruit into fun shapes, that sort of thing. There's a way to appeal to the kid's brain, I think, with food. And I think also educating and increasing their independence as well. So bringing them in on the food choices, you know, when you go to the grocery store, involve them. You know, say, okay, your job is to go get some bananas.
Yeah.
And they can pick out the bananas.
Can we go overboard? I mean, look at me. What a specimen of a man I am.
Hey,
If you can see. But,
fine specimen.
but I mean, when I was growing up, and I always refer to my own life because I know what we used to have toast for breakfast with butter on it, real butter.
Okay.
And it's probably peanut butter. And if we didn't have that, we used to have a plate of cornflakes with sugar on top and real milk.
Yeah, I had that
proper
too.
milk, not this diluted stuff that you can get. And I think that the difference between us now and kids today is that we walked to school and we played outside, and I hardly knew a fat kid. Because we were all in the same boat. You know, we all did the same thing, but we didn't eat homemade muesli, which is obviously, you know, a healthy fad, for want of a better word, I suppose. We just ate regular food, and it didn't affect us untoward. So probably the most important thing, isn't it? Just eat normally and get some exercise. Would that be fair to say that or not?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to give advice to parents, but I think oftentimes our kids are glued to their devices.
Sure.
And they're not getting outside, and they're not playing in dirt. I mean, I'm reading a book right now called Eat Dirt.
Yeah, you've got to get some germs into you.
You've got to get that bacteria, that diversity, and we're just not getting it, and kids are getting sicker. And when you don't have that diversity, it will lead to weight gain as well.
We've only got about 2 minutes to go. What else have you got for us?
Okay, so I just covered one. You know, when eating, make sure the gadgets, the phones, the TV's turned off, and actually eat together as a family. You know, it creates a more relaxed, enjoyable experience. Hopefully, you know, the kids will enjoy eating more, you know, those healthier foods more. Would role model as well.
Sure.
You know, don't give those kids something completely different and you're eating something junky or something, you know. You have to role model. They're looking to you.
Yeah, you don't want to say, look, you eat this and you're going to grow up to be like your dad and he's got a big fat belly on him.
Right.
You know?
Each week or month, try a new healthy food. You know, kids, you don't want to put too much on them at once. You know, they can be very fussy. I've had a lot of fussy eater clients. Just make it fun. And like I said, you know, cutting shapes with food, making smiley faces on some buckwheat pancakes. I don't know, just anything to appeal to them. But make it fun and try a new food. And I think those are most of the tips. The last tip overall, an interesting one that's, I think, starting to get a lot more attention is intermittent fasting. And I kind of want to end with that and lead into the next radio show on that topic and talk more about what intermittent fasting is.
Yep, sure thing.
Some people don't know what it is and the benefits of it.
Just remind our listeners before we let you get back to work, if we want to come and see you for some nutritional advice, where are you and how do we get hold of you?
So I'm at G's Pharmacy in Taradale, and welcome to pop in and say hi, or email me at heather@foodforlife, that's FOR life.co.nz, or call me on 027-812-5071.
As always, our pleasure. You look after yourself. We'll talk to you same time, same place next time.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ken.